without further ado, I'll be bringing up our guest speaker now. And we don't really do bio every month or reading a citation every month. But one thing that stood out for me for this particular guest speaker is because we were introduced by someone else, and why I mean, making publicity, sharing the flyer on my personal account, I realized that she's like a sister and a friend to our speaker for June, which is very beautiful to know. And that really gave me more, like, make me more to anticipate today's teaching, because I know that she's going to speak to us and we are going to get better for it. So, on that note, please let's welcome Mrs. Temitope Olajide. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ma. Good evening, Ma. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for um what do I even say? Thank you so much for the privilege to be here. Thanks to Dreams to Legacy Initiative, I must say that you are doing a great job. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a privilege to be here, and I trust God to take control and speak His mind unto us and provide clarity as it concerns purpose unto us today. So I think I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, you're not allowing me to share, so can you please allow me to share my screen?
All right, so you'll be made a co-host shortly, then you'll be able to share
All
your
right,
screen.
ma. Okay, all right, ma. So while waiting for that, I will just say, um, when I got the notification, when I got the message from my very good sister who went to the same secondary school together, so when I got the message, I was like, okay, let's say, like, give me some time to give you a feedback, and I'm grateful that I'm here today, actually. And when we talk about purpose, it's something that, over time you find out that a lot of people are confused when it comes to the word purpose. In fact, just hearing the word purpose, we feel like it is one majestic thing. Now, I'm not saying that purpose is not majestic. I mean, that is the very core of why we are here, why we are on earth in the first place. So it's a big thing. It's a very, very big thing. But to find out that we can find purpose even in those little or small things. But a lot of time um people think that purpose is being in the okay,
You
I
can
think I
share
can
now,
see my
ma'am.
screen
You
now.
can share now.
Okay, I can
Yes.
see that. So a lot of time people think purpose is about, being in the forefront, like people are seeing you, they are saying, oh, this person is this person is that. But purpose is not just about being out there. Someone can be working behind the scene and they are fulfilling purpose. Whereas for someone else, they need to be out there, they need to be in the faces of people to fulfill their own purpose. So this evening we're going to be looking at why am I here? Discovering purpose in every season. Why am I here? Discovering purpose in every season. So my name is Temitope Olajide. I think I was asked on my bio, but I've been very busy lately, so I could not get that across to you. But what is it to know about me? I'm a child of God, yes. A woman, as you can see, yes. What else? I'm a teacher by profession. I prefer to use the word teacher and not lecturer anyway. And by the grace of God, I'm someone who is passionate about young ones, especially the females. And God is helping me to do what can be done to ensure that they walk in the fullness of the plan and purpose of God for their lives. So, but before I go into the main teaching, looking at this picture, I want someone from the audience. Me, I like very interactive class. I want one of the young people here to tell me, look at this picture. What can you say about this picture as it pertains to purpose? What can you say about this picture here as it pertains to purpose? I'm waiting. Is anyone wants to speak? Anybody? Okay, let me help out. Looking at this is a compass. The north, east, west, south, southeast, northeast, northwest, southwest. That's a compass. So looking at this, what can you say when it comes as it pertains to purpose? Okay, Adeoye, you can please mute and speak. Adeoye, I saw you raised
Okay,
your hand.
Adeoye, you can
Okay.
unmute and answer the question.
yeah. So according to the picture there, this is a compass. So based on this, I can say purpose is your direction, your goal,
Hmm,
or should I say the
hmm,
yeah, your direction where you are heading to, where you are going towards.
hmm, hmm. Great. Thank you so much, Adeoye. So purpose is like a compass, and the major function of compass is that compass provides direction. It helps you to navigate through a path. The compass gives you direction. It helps you to, okay, I need to follow this route, I need to go on this route, and that is exactly what purpose does. So purpose is like your why, WHY. Why do you do the things you do? Why exactly are you here? Like I have here, coming. Okay, these are the outline for the teaching. We're going to be looking at purpose, talent, personal vision. Then we go to how to discover your purpose and also working in purpose. I trust God to help us with the time. Now, Robert Byrne said something. He said, the purpose of life is the life of purpose. The purpose of life is the life of purpose. Now, the reason you have life in the first place is for you to live a life of purpose. Naturally, things don't just happen for happening's sake. There is a reason something happened. That is why they will say for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So when things happen, there is a reason, there is a purpose for which those things are happening. So if you are here today, if you're on earth as an individual, as a person, and you have life in you, what you should be asking yourself is, why do I have life in me? Why am I still breathing? Why am I still living? So when we talk about the purpose of life, the purpose of life is the life of purpose. So you are not here just to occupy space, not because, we just need humans to live on earth. You are here because there is a purpose for your life. And that purpose is that to do what? That you live a life of purpose. And I have that. I know someone is, especially as young people, what we are thinking, okay, what do I want to be when I grow up? Like, you're asking yourself, maybe you're still in secondary school, you're going to be taking WAHEC, JAM, and you're asking, which course do I want to study? What do I want to be? And all of those things. Now, as much as those things are as much as that question is an important question, but there is a bigger and a better question. And that bigger and better question is the question of, why am I here? Because purpose is beyond studying medicine to be a medical doctor. It is beyond studying engineering to become an engineer. It is beyond choosing a particular career path. Although we cannot exclude the place of career in the fulfillment of purpose, but purpose is bigger than choosing a career path. So I have that purpose is the why behind what you do. Purpose is what gives life a sense of meaning. There are people that you may see maybe working in big offices, they have a good job, you're looking at them, you feel like everything is okay. But right on the inside of them, there is this emptiness that they feel. Why is that emptiness there? Because despite that everyone is looking at them and feel like, oh, these people are doing so well, but still they don't see meaning. They don't find fulfillment in what they are doing. And because of that, everything happening around them seems to be meaningless and senseless. So, purpose is what gives your life a sense of meaning and direction. And purpose is your contribution to the world, your contribution to humanity, your contribution in your community, in your environment, whether it is small or big. Also, okay, I have here a question that if you can just take some moment to reflect, why do you do the things that you do? Can you ask yourself, as a student, why do I wake up early in the morning and get ready to go to school? As a young person, why am I doing the work I am doing? Why am I doing the job that I am doing? These are things we should ask ourselves. So I have here that why do you wake up early in the morning to go to school? Is it to get a good job? While we were young, at least I was once in secondary school now. We'll be thinking, okay, when you finish secondary school, you go to the university to study medicine. Of course, almost every science student wanted to study medicine. So we go to the university, we study medicine. After studying medicine, yes, we'll find our tall, dark, and handsome TDH. We'll get married to our TDH, our knight in shining armor. Then have children, build a house, buy car, and live happily ever after. Those were like our dreams, what we wanted. But I want you to understand this evening that purpose is beyond you as an individual. Purpose is beyond self. It is beyond the benefits that you can get from it. When we talk about the benefit of purpose goes beyond what you as an individual, what I as an individual, what you as a person stand to gain. Purpose is meant to make you a blessing unto yourself and unto others. Purpose is not for you alone. The benefit of it, the result of it is not for you alone. It is for you to make impact and to shine your light into the darkness of others so that they can be illuminated. And purpose flows from you unto others. Albert Einstein said, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. If everything about your dreams, your visions, your desires are just for your personal benefit, sorry, that is not living a purposeful life. That is not a worthwhile life. That is not a cause to follow. For example, look at what Dreams to Legacy is doing today. Helping others to find clarity, to find purpose, to find meaning, to find direction in life. So it is beyond the visioneer of this initiative. So living a life that impacts others is the life that is worthwhile. Now, there are some key things we need to, look at and define. We have purpose, we have talent, we have vision, we have career. Before I go, further into what I've talked about. So I've talked about purpose. Purpose is why you are on earth, why you are still living, and it is the reason behind what you do. Purpose is why you are doing what you're doing. Now, what is talent? Talent is your natural ability. Talent talks about things that, it may be difficult for others, but it is easy for you to achieve. Others may have difficulties with it, but it is something that is very, very easy for you. And it's more like an inborn thing. Although you don't live it at your natural ability alone, you still have to develop it. You have to consistently build that talent. So talent could be athletic, it could be intellectual, creative, artistic. Some people are very good, some people are good with working with their hands. I mean, building things, crafting things, it comes easy for them. Like you may even look at some children and you'll be like, please, what runs through your mind? Like, how do you come up with all of these things that you do? That is talent. And I have that there is no one without at least one talent. Some of you can say, oh, I am not talented. Maybe because sometimes, I remember when I was still a teenager, I was in the university, there was this magazine then, Mind magazine. They used to interview these young people. People were also teenagers. They would interview them. And I was a teenager. I wasn't doing bad for myself at that age. I wasn't doing bad for myself at that age. But then, when I see these young people and the things they've done, they are doing, I'll be like, these people are talented though. Me like this. I'm not even sure I have any talent or anything. But you know what? Let me say to you, if you are listening to me this evening, there is nobody without at least one talent. If you look at the parable of the talents in the scripture, for those of us who are Christians, you will see that even the even the least person, even the least servant, even the least servant, sorry, I was distracted by the person who was speaking. Even the servant that was like not that was given the least was given one talent. Their master did not leave them without anything. At least one was given unto that servant. So there is no one without at least one talent. You only need to sit down and retrospect. What comes easy for you? Is it singing? Is it having listening here? Is it teaching? Is it writing? Is it drawing? Everyone has talent, at least one. Others may have more than you, but you too, you are not empty. And if you work well with that one, look at that parable of the talent. The one who had two doubled it. The one who had five also doubled it. And the one who had one said, no, you gave me one. When you gave those people two and five, he did nothing with it. And that one that he had was what? Was taken away from him. So if you retrospect, you will find out that there is something special about you. There is a talent that you have. There is a natural ability that you have. And later on, we are going to look at how this natural ability, the role this natural ability plays in your fulfillment of purpose, because it is not there just for fun. It is there for a reason. Now, when we talk about personal vision has to do with sight. I mean, we have eyes to see. So it is you seeing into the future that you desire. It is you having a clear and vivid picture of the future that you desire. And it speaks about your goals, your dreams, and your values, the things that matters to you. What are the things you want to achieve? What are the things you want to become? What is the kind of life that you desire for yourself, that you desire to live? And when we talk about personal vision, it spans across all areas of life, from your spiritual life to your physical, emotional, academic, financial, your relationship or social life. You should have a vision, an holistic vision for your life. Because when you have a vision, it keeps you away from a lot of things. As a young person, there were things I did not do as a young person just because I knew where I was going. And I knew that engaging in those things would only draw me far away from where I was going. So I knew that no, these are no go area for me. These are things that I cannot indulge in. Even if majority are doing it, I cannot join the majority to do it. I will rather remain the minority and not, engage in these things. So as a young person, when you have a vision for your life, when you have an image, a clear picture of where you are going, it saves you from a lot of headache. It saves you from falling into wrong association and trying to connect purpose with vision, with talent and career. What do I have here? Purpose is your why. Vision is your what and where in your future. Why your talent represents how. Purpose is why you are on earth. Vision is that glorious future that you are seeing, that you desire, relative to the reason you're on this earth. And those talents, that thing you are overlooking, that entrepreneurial skill that you have, that artistic skill that you have, that creativity in you is part of what will be needed you know, in fulfilling or in walking in your why. So, talent is how you will get to that glorious future that you desire, which is a part of your why. So, I have that purpose is your why, vision is your what, and where in the future. Why talent is what represents your how. So, how you are going to get to that future, talent is a key part of it. Now, when we now talk about career, career now is a path that you choose to pursue your why, to realize your vision, and to leverage your talents. So, your career is just like one of the paths you choose in, in pursuing your purpose. Now, there is what we call the personal vision statement. There is what we call the personal vision statements. Um, I'll come to the first line later, but I will just speak it. Let me speak about the first points because of for those of us who are believers here. You know, we've been made to understand that purpose is God defined, and I tell you, I believe that. But the fact that purpose is God defined is not a license for us not to have an image of what our ideal future looks like. A lot of us sit down doing nothing. I am waiting on God to reveal my purpose to me. Whereas in those little things that you're doing, in those talents, it's already speaking to your heart, in your strengths, in your weaknesses. It's already saying this and this and this are the reason why I've brought you here and why you need to do the things that you are to do. So that purpose is God defined does not mean that we cannot have an image of what our future should look like. And if at all, for any reason, now that image that we have, that vision now does not align with the purpose. I tell you, if you're on his side, he knows how to redirect you. Saul was passionate, he was zealous for the wrong cause. God saw that. He saw that zeal, that passion, and he said, no, I need this one. And he did what? He redirected that passion in the right path, and it became the Apostle Paul that we know today. So that you are a believer, that you're a young Christian does not mean that you cannot have an image or an idea, or that you cannot have a desire of the future that you want. Now, in crafting your personal vision statements, there is the vision board, there's the personal vision statement. Personal vision statement is a statement, more like a sentence, or maybe 2 to 3 sentences coined together. So make sure it is very clear and short. It should not be something so bogus. It should not be something so big. And make sure it is in the present tense. And don't put it like a future thing. That's something that will happen. Yes, we know it will happen, but speak it as though it is already. And then make sure it is something that inspires you and also focused on impact. It should not be self-centered. You are not to be selfish in crafting your personal vision statement. Remember, we said that purpose is not for you alone. The benefit of purpose transcends what you stand to gain as a person. Now, one of the things that can help you in crafting your personal vision statement is you ask yourself, right now, who am I? And I'm going to come to identity later on. Who am I? And I also need you to understand that it can evolve over time. And it's also okay to not be so clear from the onset, especially for the young ones. I'm going to share my personal story later on along the line. So you will see that I've also tried a lot of things before I actually found this path. So it is okay if you are not so clear from the onset. Don't beat yourself up about it. Clarity comes with time. I mean, what I know now, I didn't know it as a teenager, which is why we are sharing this knowledge with you so that you can know better and make better choices also for yourself. So it is okay not to be so clear from the onset. Clarity comes with time. But the scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So you cannot afford not to have a vision for your life. And remember, we said vision is an image of that future that lies ahead of you, that you desire. Also, create your vision board. I'm away from home, but at home, I have a board in my room. It's a vision board. It's directly opposite my bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm seeing it. And on that vision board, I have, pictures that address the core areas of my life. I have, pictures and words and affirmations that talks about my spiritual life, my emotional life, my finances, family, health, my physical wellness. What other things do I have there? I think I have about 7 different core areas, relationship wise. So have a vision board, create one for yourself. You can cut pictures from newspaper, you can print out pictures and put it there. When you wake up in the morning, that image should be imprinted in your mind. Maybe you desire to go to the university, and where you are coming from, it's like it's not a vision that is possible, maybe because of your financial situation. And find picture of somebody that graduated from the university and is wearing graduation gown with that cap. Yeah, put it there. Be seeing it every day. Over time, the more you see it, the more you visualize it in your mind, the more you call that thing into existence for yourself. Which is why you have to be careful of the things you put on the vision board. And as much as possible, make sure it's cut across every areas of your life. I'll just give an example of a personal vision statement. Please take notes. PVS, that's personal vision statement, is different from vision board. Take note of that. So I have something like, for example, for a personal vision statement, I'm not with my main journal, so the main one I have is not here. I just quickly wrote this one this afternoon. So I have that I am a child of God who has been called to shine the light of God through teaching. And I do not just speak words in the classroom. I transform the life of everyone who comes in contact with me. That is like a personal vision statement. At the core of my purpose is teaching. Almost every expression of me has teaching as a core part of it. And I don't just open my mouth to speak. And the funny thing is this, sometimes I ask myself, the way God does these things is somehow, I don't want to use the word funny, but I can say it's funny. Because when you get to know me, you know I'm actually an introvert. I am not someone who likes to be out there. I mean, I can be alone for this and I'm good. I'm fine. But I tell you, when I'm in the classroom and I'm teaching, my students cannot believe that I am an introvert. I am, like someone else entirely. So have your vision board, have your personal vision statement. It may not even be as long as my own. It may be something as simple as, okay, I am a child of God, or I am a young person who has been called into the field of maybe engineering or whatsoever. I am a young person who has been called to shine light, to change the world, to transform the world with my creative abilities. Maybe with your writing. There are books that have been written decades ago, and people still read them and make reference onto them up until today. Also, journaling. Write. I cannot say this enough. Writing is core, is key to you fulfilling a purpose. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 to 3 says that, I've forgotten. Like, write it, write the vision. So that whoever sees this will do what? Will run with it. Right. When something drops on your heart, sometimes, especially for the Christians among us, we may think that we want to hear God say, Temitope, Temitope, Temitope. Now stand up, pick up your notes, take your pen, and start writing. It is not always like that. That little thought, that impression in your heart, write it down. Learn to write. Thank God for notepad. When it comes, do what? Pam, 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 pam. Type it on your notepad. Let it be there. So learn to journal, learn to write. Sometimes you may want to get tired, and that is the truth. That you have found purpose does not mean that there won't be challenges. Things may want to, frustrate you along the path. But when you remember why you started and why you are walking that path, when you go back to the things that were said that you wrote down, it does what? It re-energizes you to continue. So make writing a key part of you. I know the world is digital now. So a lot of us are losing our writing skill. But please and please do not lose your writing skill. Learn to write, learn to journal. Now, one of the other key things I'm to talk about in this class is on the seasons of life. Seasons of life. And I'll say that majorly we'll say there is the childhood stage, the teenage year, the young adulthood, and adulthood. But beyond just this classification, myself and yourself knows that there are some other experiences we pass through that are like a particular season of life for us. And for the young person, I will say the teenage years and your young adulthood are for you, are for self-discovery and awareness, are for you to get your identity, are for you to build, to experiment. You will try some things, you might fail at it. You learn a lesson on how not to do it. And then to prepare yourself for independence. And I always say this, I'm always grateful that I made good use of my teenage years. Like, I am always grateful that I achieved a lot of things as a young person and I was so focused as a teenager. I'm always grateful for that. So, life is in stages, life is in season. And note that as we pass through the seasons of life, some experiences may happen. And also, purpose, like we always say, purpose is a journey, it's not a destination. So there is a purpose for that season that you are currently in. There is a purpose for that season of life you are currently in. There is a reason that a child is born and then the child grows into adulthood and not just become an adult the following day. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So in every season of life you find yourself, as a student in high school, as someone who just left high school and is waiting for admission, as someone who just gained admission and is in the university, as someone who is about to finish from the university, as someone who has graduated from the university and is waiting for job, as someone who is waiting for marriage or whatever things you are waiting for, those are different seasons of life. And you can discover purpose in each and every of those seasons. You should not just live life like whatever happens, happens. No, it could not be like that. So, before I go into details in how to discover your purpose, we need to talk about why is purpose important. Now, purpose is key because it gives you direction. Purpose gives you motivation. Even when things, as much as I was talking about, I've been called to teach and all of those things. I remember there was a time I was talking to a friend and I was like, I think I want to go into industry. Like, industry pays better, plenty money inside industry than teaching and all of those things, blah, blah, blah. I was just thinking about it in my heart, I was thinking to the extent that I voiced out to someone. And then I think after that conversation, I even voiced out to two people. After the conversation with the first person, I took some time to reflect. I said, no, I did not start because of money. That was not the reason I started. I started for impact. So when you know your why, it fuels you even through tough and challenging times. Also, it helps you to be resilient, even when you derail a little bit. Your why does what? It redirects you back to the right track. And then you bounce back from whatsoever setback. Also, purpose contributes to a more fulfilled and meaningful life. I said this. There are people, I said it earlier, that there are people that you find out that, okay, these people seems to have everything well put together. But when you check in their heart of heart, it is filled with emptiness. They do not find fulfillment in what they are doing. So when you understand your purpose, it helps you to find happiness, to find fulfillment and meaning in what you do. And also, purpose helps to make a difference. Oh God. Purpose empowers you to make a difference. It helps you to be a shining light unto others. It helps you to help others as well. That is purpose. Now, find your purpose daily and live life to the fullest and never, never give up. No matter what, never give up. So, I know everybody is thinking, hey, purpose, 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 purpose. This purpose you are talking about, it looks like a big thing. Now, let's break it down. How do you discover your purpose? How do you know that this is why you are on earth? How do you know that while you are waiting for admission, you are the most brilliant student in your set? Others have gone into the university and you are still there writing jam year after year. How do you find a purpose in that waiting period, in that waiting season, when it seems like you are forsaken and nothing is working out? So, I started by saying that there is no way to talk about discovering purpose without talking a little bit about identity. And who you are is a key path of purpose. You cannot purpose without having an idea. It may not be so clear totally. You may not have 100% explanation for who you are, but you should have some percentage of idea, of knowledge of who you are as a person. So, identity talks about your sense of self, who you are. And this is defined by your characteristics as a person, your belief, your values, and your social roles. It could be personal, spiritual, social, or professional. Who is Temitope? Olajide, who am I? Yes, I've talked about it. By my spiritual identity, I am a child of God. I've been called out of darkness into God's light, and I am called to shine that light as well. Professionally, I'm a teacher. By my beliefs and values, I'm someone who values honesty and integrity a lot. I don't joke with it. If you want to be in my call, you have to be someone who stands for something, whether there's an audience watching or not. You should be the same, whether people are watching or not. So it is important that you sit down and reflect. Who are you as a person? What are the things that matters most to you? If someone looks at you and they are to define, if I ask my students, who am I to them? They will tell me, oh, madam, you're a disciplinarian, you're strict, you're this, you're that. And okay, I'll say, okay, that is good. So, who you are, your sense of self is very, very important. Because of time, I will not be able to talk about personality and self awareness. Your purpose. So identity is core. It's very, very key. And a strong sense of identity provides a foundation for discovering your purpose. A strong sense of identity, look at it, provides a foundation. So knowing who you are is like you laying a foundation for why you are who you are. Who are you? That helps you to know why you are here on earth. Also, we need to first understand who we are, that is our identity, then we can explore why we exist in relation to what? To that understanding. So, the fact that I know who I am helps me to explore why I am on earth and why I exist in the first place relative to who I am. Now, I also have that there is the one who made you, and it is in him that you have your identity. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. I'm sure there are some other people who are Christians there also. But whatsoever thing you believe in, no one knows you as much as the one. It is always said, nobody knows a product more than the manufacturer. No one knows the product more than the manufacturer. So having a good relationship with God, with the one who made you, is key to you fulfilling your purpose. That is one fail-proof method of discovering your purpose. It starts with Him, your Creator. So find your identity in Him, build your identity in Him, and then you can be rest assured that you will discover your purpose. You will know the reason for which He sent you here on earth, and that will help you to do what you need to do. So this is the part where everything gets practical, and I need us to really pay attention because I think I will entertain at least one or two persons in this segment so that we'll do a practical example of how to discover our purpose. Now, I've talked about knowing who you are and finding your identity in God. So in addition to that, other practical ways to find our purpose, to discover our purpose, is to ask yourself right now. I've been writing it down. Write down at least three things that you're passionate about. What do you love doing? Three things that you love doing. That even if you're tired and they say, let us go and do this, oh, energy will come, you will jump up. So go and do it. What are the three things that you love doing? State them out, write them out. For me, I think I have three things I love doing. I love to acquire knowledge. I mean, right from when I was small, I love to read. Like, I read anything readable. Signpost, oh, label of bread, oh, anything. Oh. I love to acquire knowledge a lot. I love to acquire skills. When I learn that there is something to learn, I love to learn. So I love to acquire skills. That is one, to acquire knowledge and skills. And also, one thing I love doing also is to teach. When I know something, I love to impart, to share that knowledge with others. That's another passion of mine. And the third one I have here is that another thing I'm passionate about that I love doing is I love helping ladies, females like myself, to stand out and become exemplary, to discover themselves, to understand the strength that lies in them, and also to harness that strength. So I've written those three things. I want to believe you have written your own three things also. I will call anybody to speak. So get ready. Number two, things. Your talent or your strength. What are the things you are naturally good at, even if others struggle with it? Think about it. What are you naturally good at? Yours may be calculation. Maybe it's mathematics. Maybe it is working with your hands, doing crafts, creativity. You can just think up and conjure up images and stories in your heart. It might be writing. What are you naturally good at? Even if others, find, even if others struggle with it. For me, I'm naturally good at listening. I'm a good listener. Also, I'm very, very empathetic. Like, I'm very, very empathetic, even though I'm trying to build strong at small, small. I'm very empathetic. I'm good at counseling and giving advices. Like, that one can never miss me unaware. Also, I'm good at teaching. I always say this to my students. If I teach you and you don't know it, nobody else can teach you and you will know it. Like, especially if I have enough time, like if time is not a constraint. Yes, teaching is one of my strengths. If I teach you and you do not know it or you do not understand it, I'm not God though, so I'm not saying nobody else can teach you and you know it. But I'm telling you, it may be a bit difficult for another person to teach you. I know it. So teaching is one of my strengths. I know it. It is one of the things that is one of the talents of God in me. So I believe you have written your own three things. Next one, what bothers you the most or breaks your heart? What are the problems that you care so much about? What are the things that when you see it, there's a pain in your heart? It's like they stab you. You feel the pain, like, God, why? Why is this thing happening? For me, some of the things that breaks my heart, I dislike it. Like, it pains me when I see people living and dwelling in ignorance, especially young ones. When I see people dwelling in ignorance, it breaks my heart. Also, I have poverty. I've been there. I know what it felt like. I don't have the word yet. Still trusting God for increase financially, but at least it's better than the way it used to be. So one of the other things is when I see, poverty, and then when I see people doing things they should not do just because of poverty, it breaks my heart. And also, I have, living below standard here. When I see people not living up to the standard of who they should be, it breaks my heart. When I hear about, girls being raped and all of those things, sometimes I'm not even able to read these stories. It breaks me. These are things that bothers me the most or breaks my heart. I believe you have written your own three things. Talking about values, what are the things that are most important to me? What are principles or standards that I hold so dear and that I do not compromise? I've talked about honesty earlier. Honesty is one. Responsibility is key to me. I love people who are responsible. And if you will be close with me, if you will be a mentor to me, you have to take responsibility for your own life. There are things I will not do for you. You will have to do them for yourself. Responsibility is one of my core values. I've talked about honesty, integrity. I'll leave it at those three. Experiences also. The things you have experienced, the hurdles you have crossed, the lessons you have learned from them can also be what are the experiences of life that you have heard. I've had experiences of betrayal and poverty and all of those things. Also, I have that even though most people don't accept this, but sometimes to your weakness could be a pointer to your purpose. Although we can put this under your experiences because it must be a weakness that you have been helped to overcome. There are people who used to do drugs, who used to masturbate, but they have overcome that and then they find purpose in educating others not to fall into that trap. So, your passion, your talent or your strength, what's the third thing I mentioned? The things that breaks your heart the most, the things you value, that's number 4, your experiences. These are all pointers to discovering your purpose. And I have that. Maybe you are thinking you have plenty talent, strengths, passions. Then what do you do? Which one do you pursue? Which one is your purpose? Now, this is it. Even in all of those talents, there will still be one that is of utmost expression if you look at it critically. So you may need to sit down, do some reflection, and then I will share some resources with us later on towards the end of the class, some tests that we can take that can also be pointers to this purpose we are talking about. So I want to quickly share a story, my story, discovering purpose in every season. And, talking about being a child of God, being a teacher and all of those things. I remember when I was in GS2, I finished high school, that's secondary school. I finished secondary school at age 13. So I think when I was in GS2, I was around 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. I think I was around 8 or 9 years. I can't remember around that time. I was very young. But because I was in high school, I could attend the youth vigil for my church. So we used to have this youth vigil. And in my little years on earth, as a then, looking at the prayer pattern, I noticed that when we are praying, in the Pentecostal setting, we start with prayer of thanksgiving, then we ask for forgiveness of sin, then we go to asking for the power of the Holy Spirit, and then we go to asking for inspiration, imisi, that's what we call it, inspiration, and then we ask for then we go to asking now for personal requests, and then we do intercession as well. So I noticed that trend in how prayer was being done. And I remember that night, I'm looking at the picture, that image clearly of how it happened that day. Small girl, small stature, small body, short. They used to call me Kuluwe in high school for you to know how short I was back then. So, and I was like, I have something to say. And they were like, okay. Then come outside. Then I stepped forward and I was talking to elderly people. Some of them were already in polytechnics as a then. And I was talking to them how to pray. I taught them. I shared with them the pattern of prayer. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just one small girl. And then, before you know it, in the same church, while I was still in secondary school, I was teaching adults Sunday school. I joined the Sunday school department. I was teaching adults. And take note of something. My mom used to say, you will sing for God. Because I told God that when he gives me a child, my child will sing for him. And they were always pushing me into everything choir. Even in the university, I joined choir. But choir was not choiring with me. Like, not that I could not sing, I could sing, but then, like they always say, when it didn't day. Like something was still missing. But when it comes to teaching, there was the grace to do it. So, and that was how, I found purpose in teaching, in my strengths, in the things I'm passionate about. So, looking at that, the passion is I love to share, to acquire knowledge, and also to share that knowledge with others. And if I connect that with the problem, the things that break my heart, what breaks my heart? Ignorance. How do you resolve ignorance? Provide knowledge. So, that is me fulfilling purpose. So, using your passion, your talents, and the values you have to solve the problem that breaks your heart the most, to solve the problems in your environment that you have identified and that is like a pinpoint to you. That is you discovering your purpose. So sit down after this class, identify your talents and your passion and start connecting them to those things that breaks your heart and seeing the connection, the relationship between them, how you can use that talent to solve that problem. And that is where your purpose is. And I also have discovering purpose in every season. I mean, I've I want to see what I have here. Okay, so but you would expect that someone like me should go into maybe go and do an education course and go into teaching or all of those things. But then still did not go into teaching. It wasn't so clear. I just knew I was passionate about it. I did not have the level of knowledge that I have now. So I've done a lot of things. When ASU strike 2009, I was in the university already. ASU was on strike. I decided to learn fashion designing. I said it, I love to acquire knowledge. I can't be idle. I just have to be learning something. I went to learn fashion designing. I was learning all through during school vacation. By the time I was going to graduate from school, I was talking to my very close friend that I felt God leading me into the fashion industry to go and be a fashion designer. And she said, okay. But at the same time, I heard clearly that I was to do my master's once I finished my first degree. So I knew I was coming back for my master, even though I wanted to be a fashion designer. Even though I then was saying that God is calling me into fashion designing or whatsoever. And I went into it while I was doing my master's. It was tough. I'm from a very humble background. So it was tough. At a point, I got a teaching job. I was looking at the stress of going to the school. I left. I said, I cannot do this thing. Let me go and bring my sewing machine and be sewing. I think that is what God is calling me to do, purpose and all of those things. I started sewing. The money from the sewing was still not enough. I got a job with a microfinance bank. I started working in microfinance as a loan officer. All those people that you see that they will be going to tell people, all these LAPO people that will tell people collect loan and they'll be going to collect it from them every week, small, small. That was the job I was doing. I did that job for years. At least that job helped me to scale through my master's program. I did that job for some times. I was on the job. At a point, I moved from one company to another company, still the microfinance job. I continued in that. After that, I left the microfinance job. I worked as a project manager for a particular company for some months, overseeing the affairs of the companies and all of those things. Now, why am I sharing this story? I'm sharing it to tell you that I had also experimented with some things. But after going into all of those things, I still went back to where? To teaching. Now, why am I saying this? But I tell you, in every of those seasons that I passed through, they were not a waste. Oh, I learned financial management when I worked in microfinance. It was then I knew that even sometimes, for someone coming from an humble background, when you hear millions, millions looks like big money. It was then I knew I've handled hundreds of thousands cash. I knew that this money is not something plenty. The experiences I had growing up while helping my mom to sell opened my eyes to finance. It's opened my eyes to people relationship. It helped me to know how people can be deceptive. I used to say it then, by the grace of God, the only person I've ever dated is my husband that I got married to. I did not even, when people were doing this, growing up in a local place, it was more like the normal thing. But because I was helping my mom to sell, young guys will come. They will say, Mom, you want to buy bread? They will buy bread. They will buy milk, tin milk, buy it for their girlfriends, follow them and go. After those girls have gone, they will now come back to come and ask for gari and granite for their own self because they actually don't have money. They're only trying to impress another person. So is it the same set of people that want to follow to be impressed when, like all of those experiences helped me. So there was a purpose for each of those seasons. So as a young person, there is a purpose in this season. Discover that purpose. Discover the reason for which you are in that local community. Discover the reason for which you were born into that family and not a rich family. Discover the reason for which you were born in Nigeria and not abroad. There is purpose in every season. Discover it. So this is our activity that we should do. But I think we did that together already. So is there anyone who wants to volunteer now to share your passion and your talent with us? 3 things that breaks your heart the most and how you can use your passion and your talent to solve this problem. Anybody want to try that for us? If you want to, please signify. Anybody? Ah, time is fast spent. God help us. Anybody?
Please, you can raise up your hand and I will unmute from here, or you unmute your microphone and talk, please. Let someone take that activity.
One person to just take it, and I think I'll just probably just stop here because of time. Let's talk.
Or do
Anyone?
you want our guest speaker to just call anyone if you are not ready to volunteer? I think you can just call anyone. I mean, as the spirit leads.
Okay. Uh, Either Hadioye or Praise. Any volunteer between the two of them, Hadioye or Praise. Does any one of you want to volunteer? It does not have to be perfect, please. It does not have to be perfect. Like I said, clarity comes with time. There are things you will pen down now that in the next 2 or 3 years you have evolved. And they might not so much matter to you then. So Praise or Hadioye, any one of you, unmute yourself. Okay, Hadioye. Hadioye, please unmute. Okay,
Ah, okay.
I'm listening.
Um, I praise the Lord of Jesus. Okay. My passion over the years, I discovered that I'm passionate about some things, or should I say, a lot of things. But on the top of that list is reading. I love reading.
Reading. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Reading.
okay.
I believe those that knows me here in this place know that I can't last a day without reading. It's just
Wow,
something
that's
that
good.
even if I'm sick, even if I don't have anything to do, once I have a book with me, I'm good to go.
Okay,
Another thing I know I'm passionate about that I do a whole lot is talking to people.
okay. Reading, talking. Okay,
Yeah, when I mean talking, I don't mean just talking. I mean talking emphatically with people. Um,
okay,
I also remember, yeah, I'm currently on my high school, and there's something that the pharmacist on this here always say. Even when it's time to sell a product to a customer and it goes anyhow, he just tells me that I don't just come and talk to this person. And at the end of the day, I tend to appeal with them and they get the drugs, whichever. And so I know it's something that I love doing too. Talking with people, or should I say, as they say, marketing to people. I think I have the passion to sell things to people with my words.
okay,
And one other thing I know I do a whole lot is listening to people.
Okay, listening.
When I mean listening, I don't mean just being listening, but I listen to relate to them. I empathically listen to them and feel how well to connect to them. I connect to people by listening to them to that way. That's it. So
Okay.
that's
So what
it.
are the three things that breaks your heart or bothers you the most?
Hey, number one thing that breaks my heart the most is when people are just unusually dumb. I'm sorry if it sounds kind of that way, but which I can use for it. I know I'm not finding an adjective to qualify it. Like
I get
I
you.
don't know. To me it seems obvious, but you need me to start explaining it letter by letter to you. It kind of makes me get so I don't know. Yeah. So that's one. Number two,
Okay.
I hate it when someone does not. It pains me a lot when someone does not really have a guiding purpose. That's when I mean a guiding purpose, I don't mean that you have to have it all figured out, right? But you should
Mm-hmm.
have a general view of what you want to
Mm-hmm.
achieve. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't mean in the that this time I need to do this time I need to do this time I need to do this, so that I can be at this point. No, I don't mean it that way. I mean it that you should understand. Okay, example for myself. I know when I started pharmacy, I started pharmacy because I have the view in my mind that by 2030, I want to be a pharmacist.
Okay.
I have a general guiding view on what I want to do. So I know
Okay.
that whatever I do now, I'm working towards achieving that view.
What's
So I
that?
hate it when, yeah, that's the word. I hate it when people are unnecessarily NFTs, no future ambition kind of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I
So
think,
now looking at the things that you mentioned now that bothers you, now do you think any of your passion, the reading, the talking, the listening that you have talked about, do you think it could be a solution to the problems or these things that you have identified that breaks your heart the most? Do you think there could be solution to it? Then how?
yeah, I actually listening to you, even myself on my own course, as I was listening to you and listening to your story, I'm able to envision how my own truth could work out. And yes, I think it can be a solution if correctly channeled.
Okay. So how do you intend to channel it?
Oh, this stuff, God. Okay, so really, it's not as if I've really thought of it. Oh, it's just something that has been entering my mind during the course of this call. Oh. So,
Okay,
so,
sir.
so, but then I understand the fact that I read a lot. There. And
Hmm.
so, by virtue of reading a lot, I tend to attend. And when I mean I read, I don't only read just because I want to read. I read to learn from what I read. And it
Yes.
also spread to attending seminars, joining a whole lot of volunteering committee. As a current, I've joined Yali. I'm a member of Yali. I'm a member of UNESCO. I'm a member of UNDPR and all those stuff. And I'm doing that not because I'm
Okay.
doing it. I do it because I love reading. They have a whole lot of publications that I love reading. And by that way, I'm able to understand that, yes, I can use my empathic skill because I tend to understand where you're coming from by just listening to you in a few ways and relate to you. And also the way I know I can sell things, ideas to people. If it's joined together that way, I think I'm able to change the mindset cause
Hmm.
mindset shifts in people around me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
there's one guiding word I've been using for some time now about since late last month, and is that if I can talk and change the mindset of three people around me, I can make them change the mindset of three other people individually,
Other
and
people. Mm-hmm.
that way mindset shifts can happen in my community, and for my community affect the whole town around me.
Hmm. 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 Okay, thank you so much, Adeoye. Dreams to
Um,
legacy, please. We share your contact with me, or better still, I'll just send a token to you through Dreams to Legacy. You did so well. Thank you so much for that. So that was just like a practical session to help us to understand that those things we are passionate about, our strengths and our talents, they are not there for decoration. They are there for a purpose. That pain you feel when you read up about a story, when you hear of women being abused in their marriages, that pain in your heart could be signaling something. It could be telling you that this is a problem that you have been, that you have been made to provide a solution to. So I will admonish that each and every one of us should please do this when we are maybe after this call. Now that you have discovered your purpose, what next? Walk in the purpose. Take those small steps now. Like Adeoye said, start that mindset shift. Start it from the one person or two persons that you're able to talk to. Don't wait until you have a bigger platform or you start an NGO or you start a program. Start from engaging one or two people. When they are transformed, they go ahead and transform others. So start today. Also, be purposeful in exploring who you are. Don't just do things for doing sake. In wanting to, delve and put your hands into a lot of things to explore who you are, be purposeful. There be a reason for doing that. And also, learn and keep growing. You cannot be a young person when even people who are old, who are adults, are learning. You cannot be a young person and choose not to learn. It does not go well. Develop yourself personally. The teenage age, the young age is a time for you to invest in yourself. Read books, take courses, build your mind. There are things that when it is being discussed, you should not keep mute or stay quiet just because you don't know. You shouldn't be. Learn, learn, learn. This is your time to do that. A time is coming that you will really, really want to, but you may not have enough time to do that. Also, connect with people of like minds. Be purposeful with your association. Form quality association. Be there for someone. Form people that will also be there for you. Also, experiment. Please, do not be afraid. I told you I had done different things. When they were making twine bags, I learned how to make twine bags. Ankara bag and shoe, I learned how to do it. There was a time I studied zoology for my first and second degree. There was a time I was like, I want to go into microbiology. You know what? I found a lab, went there. In a matter of few months, I said, no, this thing is not for me. So do not be afraid to actually experiment something. Silence the voice of fear and doubt. Failure is also part of learning. Also, I have that too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Do not be afraid. Yes, maybe it will not work out. Then you can sit back and find out if that is what you're actually meant to do or if there are other ways to make that thing work out. So there is no harm in trying. Try. Be purposeful. Help others. We've said it. Be kind. Make a difference in your family self. Let your siblings and your parents know that there's something different about you. Be excellent in everything you do. Excellence is your special touch. I'm a teacher, but I'm not just every other teacher. I am exceptional among my colleagues, and even my students know that. I don't just teach biology. I teach life skills. I teach personal development. I talk about other things outside of that in the classroom. And beyond that, even the biology I teach, they know I'm excellent at it. You cannot afford to be a mediocre. Be excellent in everything you do. Let that excellence touch be there. Also, avoid comparison. Your journey is unique. You are unique. You can read up about this later. For every time that maybe ejaculation happens and millions of sperm are produced, biologically, each of those sperm is genetically different, even though there are millions. And out of those millions, one had to reach to an egg to form you as a person. If it were to be another sperm that fertilized your mom's egg, you would not be you genetically. That tells you that what? You are a unique person. Your journey is unique. So stay focused. Stay on the track. Also, reflect regularly. Go back to the drawing board regularly. Are you still on track? Ask yourself every now and then. And then ultimately, make sure your choices align with your vision for your life. You cannot say that you want to become someone who will make impact in your community, and then right now you are busy defiling yourself with things that do not have anything to do with where you are going to. That is why self-discovery is important. When you know who you are and why you are here, it will guide your choices that you are going to make. I have the purpose to always be tested, so build resilience. I said it. There are times I've considered leaving the classroom. So don't think because you have found it, it will always give you reason to keep jumping and doing it. No. So build resilience. It's very important. Henceforth, what will you do differently in living a purposeful life? There is no time, but take note of that. What will you do differently in living a purposeful life? I have these links. This is for personality test and this is for career code test. You can try this. There is a link between your personality and your career choices. So for those who have not, maybe you have not yet gone into university or you are in the university already, your personality has, some form of connection with the career choices, with the career that you will do well in. And remember, we said that career is one of the channels through which you can express your purpose. Conclusion: your purpose is a journey, not a destination. So it's an ongoing adventure. Clarity comes with time, and then it evolves too. Time changes, seasons of life changes, and so there may be changes. So continue to learn, grow, and adapt on the journey. And I always have affirmation for my presentation for young people. And I would just like that you say after me that I, Temitope Olajide, I know who I am. I have an understanding of who I am. I have clarity and direction concerning my purpose. I know what to do per time, and I choose focus over distraction because I understand that I am unique in my ways. So, like I said, purpose transcends the benefit of purpose, transcends what it stands to gain as an individual. It is beyond self, it is impact. I am rooting for you. I love you and I wish you all of the very best. Thank you so much for your attention. And now I will take any question that we may have. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll take questions now. Um, Over to you, Ma.
So much, ma'am. Thank you very much. That was power packed. So quickly, please, if you have a question, you can type in the chat box or you can unmute your microphone and ask your question, please. This is the best time to ask your question directly from our guest speaker. Anyone? Adeoye Enitan, Ajibola, Adeshina, Okeowo, Yinkansola, Olabode Victoria, Praise, and Salisu Titilola Kazim. If you have a question, please, you can type or raise up your hand or just unmute directly and ask your question. While we are waiting for them, I have a question for you, ma'am. And my
Yes,
question
Ma.
is, um, so I have this person in my circle that knows how to do a lot of things. She can make hair, she can bake, she's studying engineering in school, she can fix electrical appliances that get spoiled, she can sing, she can draw, she can crochet, so a lot of things. And now she's saying, Auntie Grace, which one should I choose? Which one do I want to focus on? That's on one side. And another side, there's somebody that thinks, oh, I don't know how to do anything. Nothing interests me. I don't even know whether to go to science class or art class or commercial class. So what's are these young people supposed to do about their lives? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for that question. Now, for someone who has, there are people we call the multiple potentialites. They have multiple talents, and I'll say I fall into that category. I mean, whatsoever I learn, I know it. If there's anything I think I've learned that I did not know, I learned trying to play keyboard and I did not know it. After several attempts, I left it. But that's the only thing I can say I failed at attempting to learn it. So I am someone also who has the ability to do a lot of things. By the grace of God, up until now, I still make dresses for myself, even though I don't do it as a business. I teach, I counsel, I mentor, I do all sorts of things. But I said something while I was speaking, that even if, I think there was a slide where I asked that question, that I know someone is asking, that I can do a lot of things. Yeah. I have plenty passions. I have plenty things that bothers me. So which one of these things exactly should I do? Which one of these things is my purpose? Now, I mentioned something that when you reflect, you will find out that out of all of those passions, there will still be one that you find easier to achieve. I love sewing, but it has become like a burden when it's time for me to sew. But call me to come and teach now. I'll stand up and go ahead to do it. Can I sew? Yes, perfectly. Now, so in that case, as I was saying, so if you have plenty things, sit down, take some moment to reflect. You will still find out that there is one that that surpasses the others in all of those things. Then another thing I did, another thing, some of the, I've had to attend classes on self awareness, on identity, and all of those things. Another thing is, you see, this personality test is very, very important. When you do this personality test, I always advise do it like twice or three times so that you're sure you're getting exactly the same results. So, from that personality test, when you have done it several times and you have your personality identified, for a particular personality, there are some skills or some expressions that are more evident for that personality. Now, from there, go ahead and do the career test. I use this a lot for young people. Go ahead and do the career test. When you do the career test too, you see some careers being outlined for you as things you could delve into. Now, this can help to do what? To inform your choices. And then the person you talk about can bake, can crochet, they can craft, and all of those things. All of those things fall under artistic stuff. They are all artistic. So even if the person does their personality test and their career test, it will be leading them into something artistic. So how do they know that which one exactly should they go for? Now you can do more than one. And also, you can also find out that this one that I said will always be topmost will be one that you enjoy doing. You enjoy it. It's not a burden. So let them they take some time to actually sit down to reflect. I was once in that shoe. I always say to today, if I learn anything, I'm able to do it and do it excellently because I'm an excellent person. I believe in excellence. So how do I know? So you find out now for the artistic person, for example, from Adeoye's example, everything that he said, if you look at it critically, don't be surprised if tomorrow he finds himself in a sphere where he's sharing knowledge with people of what he knows because he loves to acquire knowledge and then he will be able to share it. So that is just what I would say. Let them sit down. If they reflect, let them prioritize this their strength. Which one comes first? Let them take the personality test and career test also to also guide them. And I always say also that there is the God factor, which does not fail. Take some moments of reflection and meditation to find out what exactly will be done. But in that case of crocheting, sewing, crafting, and all of those things, they all fall under artistic. But there will be one that will be easier for the person to do. They can choose that particular one or find some other ones to support them if there's someone who can, do a lot of things together at the same time. I think that answers that. Then for the person that you said finds it, they feel like, maybe they don't have any talent or whatsoever. Like I said, there's nobody that does not have any talent. Even in the person feeling laid back, let them do the personality test. They will find out they fall under a personality. There is something they can do. In as much as everyone is looking at them and feel like, oh, this person does not have an ambition, or this person is just someone who is laid back and does not look like someone who will amount to something. That calmness That quietness, that meekness. I always say it. One of the strength and talents of my mom that I see is her meekness. That woman is very quiet and meek. And I tell you, that thing is a strength for her. Through that, she has been able to, to impact the lives of a lot of people. Just by being calm when it is expected that, at least show a little bit of aggressiveness. So there is nobody, like I said, that does not have any talent. So let the person sit down in retrospect. There is something special about them. One mistake that we always make is that sometimes we want to be like the so-called high flyers. We want to do what those big people that we see are doing because someone is, for example, I've been struggling with being very active on social media. As much as I would really want to, it's just not so much of me like that. And even though I'm beginning to understand now that, there are some things God is calling me into that will need me to, be out there more than ever before. I'm trusting Him for grace and strength, to do those things. So there is nobody that is without any talent. So that quietness, that calmness, that empathy, that so-called laziness, let them take the personality test. They will see somewhere where they fit into, and then they can, from that, when they read it, when anyone finishes the test, let them take time to read about their personality that is bringing out. Read about it. You will see even how to improve on your so-called on your weaknesses to turn them into strength. You will see your strengths, your constraints, and then the careers that you could likely venture into based on these strengths that you have. So no one is empty. God did not create anybody empty. You all have one thing or the other in you. So Titi Lola is asking, if you have a lot of talent, that are confused of what to choose sometimes, like I said, sit down and think about it. And if thinking is not helping, like I told you, I got into a microbiology lab. When I got into it, I'm still there anyway, but I know this is not something I can channel all my energy to. When I got into it, when I started practicing, I said no, even though I feel like I'm passionate about the world of microbes, I don't think this is something I would really want to commit all of my time to. So it is not a bad thing to experiment. Experiment with all of those things. Try this one out. Does it work? Does it not work? That can help you better to make, a better decision. So, is there any other question? You are unable to connect your passion and talent to your problems when they don't align. How do you mind sharing those passion and talents? Maybe you reach out to um Mrs. Grace later on. You can share with her what are those passion and talents. There will always be a connection, unless maybe the problems that you think are things that break your heart are not really the things that break your heart. Because that passion and talent has been put there to solve a problem. So if either you're not identifying the problem or you're not very clear about your passion and your talent, we've done this with a lot of people and it has always, worked out. Then try the personality test and career test too. It will provide more clarity. How can someone deal with imposter syndrome so that it will not affect such a person's purpose? Well, I used to be there. Yes, not wanting to be seen. And then the fear of, I am not good enough. I am not good enough. And that is why you will find out that while you are still thinking about doing something, another person has started doing it. And like they always say on social media, the business that will get known is not the best business. It is the person who can market their business better. So if you are struggling with not being enough, one thing you can do is, like I said, discover your strength. Sometimes when I also, sometimes when you see maybe what your mates have achieved and all, and you want to feel like, oh, nothing is happening, I go back to my book. What are my strengths? What are the things I'm doing? I'm not doing so bad. And you will find out that at the core of imposter syndrome is comparison. That was why I made the illustration on you being unique. You are unique. So understand your uniqueness and then don't compare your vision. Not everybody will be the president of an organization. Not everybody will be, a well-known person. So do not compare yourself with others. Comparison is a stealer of joy. So when you continually compare yourself with others or to others, you will consistently feel not enough. And also affirm yourself. I am enough. I am sufficient. I know who I am. I understand that there is strength and talent in me, and I will use them to fulfill my purpose. So, how can you deal with imposter syndrome? Like I said, don't compare yourself with others. Understand your strengths. Be very, very strong in your identity. That is why we said that knowing who you are is the foundation to fulfilling your purpose. So understand and get to know who you are. Believe strongly in yourself. No one will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So believe strongly in yourself and then start from somewhere. Take that little step. Be bold, be courageous, believe in yourself, one step at a time. Keep making progress, little by little. Remember, we said purpose is a journey, not a destination. So don't compare yourself, believe in yourself, have words of affirmation, have your vision board, your vision where you see yourself. Sometimes when I want to stay back or stay low, I remember the why. And then I do what? I get up. I continue to go. So I pray that the Lord will help us. If you have further questions, you can share it with Mrs. Grace. I'm sure she'll get it across to me, and then it can be addressed. I want to believe I have answered all the questions that are here.
Yes, I think
Over
you
to you,
have
ma.
answered. Yes, thank you, Ma, for this powerful session. You've covered all the questions in the chat box, but I have this final question for you. It's not really
Okay,
about
ma.
the events, but is because we don't just do this mentorship session and stop it at that. There's always a monthly task for every participant, especially our
Okay, ma.
beneficiaries at D2L to do. So I don't know whether you'll be willing to review their activity for the month, their submission for the month, which will entail the all the activity in your slide. It will be shared with them. I'm going to send it to all
Okay.
of them and give them a deadline. So are you open to review it for us? I
Why
will
not?
just
Why not, ma? No
okay.
problem, ma. I can
Okay.
always do that.
All
Okay,
right,
all
thank you
right.
very much, man. So
Thank you too.
I will be in your DM on WhatsApp to get your email address so that it can be sent directly to you and you can reply them via email.
All right, mom.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
all
you
right.
so much for coming today. We really
Thank you
appreciate
too.
you. This is a lot. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I could relate to everything. I saw myself. We can appreciate her in the chat box, please. I saw myself in a lot of picture you painted, and this is really, really eye-opening. It's a session that once it's up on our YouTube channel, I will want to listen to all over again, and which I will also encourage every participant and those that could not make it to listen to. The next Legacy Connect we hold on August 30th, 2025, next month, and we'll be talking about our academics and how to make A's in preparation for resumption for the new session, the new term. I mean, most of us have finished exams, so while we are preparing next month, we are focusing on our academics, and please don't miss it. There is in the chat box, there is a link for you to fill to review. I've checked a lot of reviews and I'm happy that we are taking time to give our feedback concerning Legacy Connect, how you want some speakers to come back and expatiate on some topics. And I know Mrs. Olajide has done a lot of, I mean, a thorough job today. If you still want us to bring her back to speak on specific area of purpose, please fill the feedback form and we are going to take it up from there. Fill the feedback form. It will also be in on our group on WhatsApp for you to fill. The personality test, I've copied the links. I'm going to send it to our WhatsApp. Please take the test. When you take the test, then I will share the activity for the month. Then immediately I share the activity for the month, I will also drop our email address and give you the deadline to send it to her. Then you know that you are going to get a response that will make you better. The topic for today is something that is central to your life. You need it for your life. Like she said, it might change with time. I mean, your purpose, personal vision statement might change. You keep discovering yourself till you die. But as you start this journey today with everything she has said, trust me, you're going to live intentionally and you're going to be better for it. Again, we are sorry for taking extra time. I know that, I mean, I was just enjoying the teaching. I did not even check the time too. I know you've been blessed. I know you've learned a lot. I know your eyes have been open. You've gotten clarity. And that's why we encourage you, once we drop the activity, please and please, um, do it and submit directly to our guest speaker through our email. As we round up, I'll be dropping our official line, official number in the chat box. If you are not a member of our community yet, or a beneficiary here, and you want to be part of Dreams to Legacy, um, initiative community, where we share updates about trainings like this, where we share updates about what we are doing, where the task will be posted and you get the guest speaker to review it for you. I'm dropping our official phone number now. Just send a message on WhatsApp and you will be attended to and added to our community. And so I'm dropping it. I'll also call it 091 091 091 58 then 100. I'm taking it again. It's already in the chat box. Quickly copy it if you want to. That's Dreams to Legacy official line. Just send a WhatsApp message and you'll be attended to. You'll be sent to the community where we talk about our mentorship program, like Legacy Connect, the free trainings we have, the opportunities we have. That's where we talk about it. If you are not a member of our community yet, 091 233 58100. For the last time, 091 233 58100. That is 100. Thank you so much for coming to July Legacy Connect. It was a powerful, powerful session. I appreciate Pharmacist Oluwatoyin Odumuagun, the executive member on this call. Thank you for joining us, sir. We really appreciate you. Mrs. Temitope Olajide, we are grateful. It was like you were, I mean, the way you taught us, it was like somebody was feeding me. It was so soft. It was entering my body. And I believe everybody on this call also felt the same way. Thank you so much. Until next month, August 30, when we come with another Legacy Connect event, I will see you guys on our platform and at the community. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Come.